What if I told you that the key to mastering your emotions lies not in suppressing them, but in understanding them through a simple yet powerful ancient philosophy? Today, we're diving deep into Stoicism, a life-changing framework that's been transforming people's lives for thousands of years. In this video, we'll explore how you can master your emotions, achieve mental resilience, and navigate life's toughest challenges like a true Stoic. Whether you're facing anger, stress, sadness, or anxiety, Stoic philosophy offers profound techniques to regain control over your emotional state. By the end of this video, you'll understand the fundamental Stoic principles that help you develop emotional control and build an unshakable mindset. So let's get started. Part 1. Understanding Stoicism and Emotions, 5,000 words. The Stoic view on emotions. Define emotions according to Stoicism. The Stoics believed emotions were judgments of the mind. It's not the events that make us upset, but how we interpret and react to those events. How Stoicism teaches us to detach from our immediate emotional responses and reframe our thoughts before reacting. Core Stoic principles. Virtue is the only good. Stoics believe that the only true good is virtue, living a life in accordance with wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. All external events, including emotions, are outside our control. Dichotomy of control. Focus on what you can control, your thoughts, actions, and judgments. Everything else, including other people's behavior and external circumstances, is beyond your control. Living according to nature. The Stoics emphasize living harmoniously with nature, aligning yourself with rational thought, and accepting that life has its natural ebb and flow. Emotions as judgments. How Stoics view emotions as errors in judgment. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. How emotions are often exaggerated due to our perception. Practical exercises for identifying and questioning the judgment behind strong emotional responses. Part 2. Mastering Emotions with Stoic Techniques. 20,000 words. Reframing negative thoughts. Introduce the concept of cognitive distortions and how they relate to Stoicism. Discuss how to challenge unhelpful thoughts using the Stoic dichotomy of control. Provide examples of common negative emotions like anger, fear, and frustration, and show how a Stoic would reframe these situations to maintain emotional control. The Stoic practice of negative visualization. Negative visualization. Explain this powerful Stoic practice of imagining the worst-case scenario to diminish fear and emotional attachment. How practicing gratitude for what you have, while mentally preparing for what could go wrong, helps create emotional resilience. Story examples of people using negative visualization to cope with life's challenges. Cultivating inner peace with Stoic meditation. Discuss Stoic meditation and the practice of self-reflection. Daily rituals for quieting the mind and reflecting on your emotions, thoughts, and judgments. Example of a Stoic morning routine. Reviewing the day ahead and mentally preparing for challenges. Emotional control through daily practice. Daily journaling. How journaling helps process emotions, track emotional reactions, and improve mental clarity. Examples of daily Stoic practices to handle difficult emotions. The role of routine in emotional control. Creating a structured day to minimize emotional chaos. Part 3. Applying Stoicism to real-life emotional challenges. 20,000 words. Dealing with anger. Discuss anger as an emotion rooted in perceived injustice or frustration. Stoic techniques for managing anger. Using self-talk, rational analysis, and perspective-taking. Examples of how ancient Stoics like Marcus Aurelius would respond to anger and adversity. How to practice reframing when anger strikes in the heat of the moment. Dealing with anxiety and fear. Fear as a reaction to perceived threats to control or survival. How Stoicism teaches us to confront fear with courage and preparation. Examples of negative visualization to break down fear. How to build confidence and handle anxiety by breaking down irrational fears into manageable thoughts. Dealing with sadness and loss. Stoic perspectives on loss and suffering, using Marcus Aurelius' reflections on impermanence. Practices for accepting and embracing loss instead of resisting it. How to handle grief with equanimity and acceptance. Dealing with stress and overwhelm. How to identify stressors and break them down using Stoic principles of control. Techniques like the dichotomy of control to stop stressing over things that are outside our influence. Practical exercises for maintaining a clear head when under pressure. Part 4. Advanced Stoic Practices for Emotional Mastery. 30,000 words. Virtue as the foundation of emotional control. How embodying the 4 cardinal virtues, wisdom, courage, justice, temperance, gives rise to emotional mastery. Real-life applications. How to practice courage when feeling fear, wisdom when feeling anger, and justice when feeling frustration. Personal stories. Share examples of historical figures and modern individuals who embodied Stoic virtues to overcome emotional struggles. Building mental resilience over time. Progressive training. How to build emotional resilience gradually, starting small and working your way up. How to measure progress and emotional growth. Just as the Stoics measured their progress in virtue. The role of adversity in building emotional strength. Stoic views on adversity as an opportunity to grow stronger. Real-life stories where facing difficult situations led to emotional mastery. How to mentally reframe challenging situations as opportunity for growth. The power of detachment. How Stoics detach from the external world and external approval to maintain emotional control. Techniques to practice detachment from material possessions, success, and failure. Stories of great Stoics who practice attachment and live without being disturbed by external events. Conclusion. Recap the key Stoic principles. A quick summary of the tools and techniques discussed. Reframing, negative visualization, emotional control, and detachment. Mastering your emotions isn't about eradicating feelings. It's about understanding them, managing them, and using them to your advantage. As you apply these Stoic techniques, remember that it's a lifelong process. Every day is an opportunity to strengthen your emotional resilience. If you found these Stoic teachings helpful, make sure to subscribe, like, and share this video. Let me know in the comments how you plan to apply these Stoic practices in your life. End with a Stoic quote. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Thank you for watching, and remember to always stay Stoic. Optional, interactive Q&A. Engage with the audience by answering common questions about emotional control, Stoicism, and how to practically apply the teachings to various life situations. Example: how do I apply Stoicism if I feel overwhelmed by my workload? Answer by relating it to the Stoic technique of focusing only on what can be controlled.